Some will define this bald spectacle of a man as cowardly or weak, and if you watched a lot of DBZ Abridged, then you would get that. But he can also be strategic in how he fights. Plus, he ended up with probably the hottest wife in all of Dragon Ball. Chi-Chi? Please. Bulma? Yeah, maybe. But Android 18 is top tier wife material. Oof. Girl, either her or sister Android 21. Hot damn. One thing is for certain though, and that he has one of the best abilities in all of Dragon Ball, even having Frieza copy him. So of course, for the build, I had to add it in. And what would that be, you ask? Well, for you English speakers, it would be the infamous Destructo Disc! And what better way than to be able to send out this ability in 2 different ways? You could send 3 large ones, or some babby versions that make you look rather, well, you can see for yourself. But hey, it's still cool, right, Frieza? Oh. To add a little extra salt into Frieza's wounds, I also added in the Wave of Gold incant to act as Solar Flare! But make sure to take some advice from Gohan.
And then you use your key enzyme to cut him in half?
But when in doubt, you can always rely on your trusty fists. Now with the weapons you want to equip, just some simple fists can do you well. You can also add the bleed ones in just to add that extra damage, and that's just if you want. And now we can show off Krillin's hand-to-hand combat. All jokes aside though, this seal is going to be the most beneficial for this build as it will boost the Destructo Disc incants. Now, if you want to go for a more int/faith-based build, there's a few spells that you can add in to make the build pretty fun. First, there's just 2 different versions of just regular ki blasts. You got a nice simple one just for the babby jobbers, and the upgraded version is just going to allow you to do more ki blasts. Dust this bitch! Plus, you can add in COMET AZUR, and that way you can also do the Kamehameha, but it will require you to pop your flask, so it's most beneficial for boss fights. Now, I picked out 3 different staffs that you could possibly use. The DEMI-HUMAN staff is more for the melee build if you want to try to add in some ki blasts to that. Otherwise, going with Lusat's or Azur's staff is just the most beneficial. You can also throw in a couple of buff spells to any of these 2 types, whether it's the melee build or the range build. So I also included Golden Vow and TERRA MAGICA. Now, these talismans I found to be the best suited to maximize damage and add some damage negation considering the fact we are wearing very, very little amount of clothing. You can also switch a few out if you're adding in the Kamehameha to the mix or going for more melee. With the crystal tiers, it's wise to pump up damage with the Holy One for Kienzans and Solar Flare, and the Faith Not Crystal tier just to kind of give you a little bit more damage boost. Use these 2 and you'll get a damage boost plus the ability to use the Kamehameha. You're gonna need a decent amount of intelligence to be able to get this ability off. The stats for this tend to be a bit more balanced, and depending on if you're using Kamehameha, then your stats are going to look something like this. Reducing dex for int and ki attack potential, and reduce vigor a couple of points if needed. For the clothes, I just kind of went with a battle damage version of Krillin, where essentially he lost his shirt. Now, I know the pants here aren't the right color, so let me just do some quick editing here and voila. It's up to you though if you want a shirt or not. Let me know what you picked in the comments below. One thing I gotta say is you've probably noticed that this Krillin is pretty horrific. And I kind of made this face during a stream, and it was more of a gag since he has no nose and his head is just giant with these creepy eyes. Ooh. So we've seen a good amount about Krillin, his fighting style, what kind of build would be efficient in the game, and his smoking hot wife and her sister. God damn, every time. And so I hope you enjoyed this Krillin build, and go check out any of the other Dragon Ball cosplay builds that I have/will do. Let me know what characters you would like to see in the game, and I will do my best to make them viable without having to, mod the game. Till next time.